Good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sunil Shamdasani. One of Nick's buddies. I've come down with the rest of the entourage from Colombo. When I first met Nick, I couldn't believe that he was more British than your average Brit. And being originally a Londoner myself, Nick and I clicked immediately. Nick had one request about this speech. He said, "Keep it British, old chap." So at his request, I shall do my best. But before I get going, let me just say that the last decade I've spent in the company of the group. This means that he has had much of a part developing my sense of humor as anyone. So although I've tried to make the speech funny, please blame Nick if it's not. But if it's hilarious, then Nick who? So what can I say about Nick? Nick is a great friend to have, very loyal, caring, generous. Nick is a fabulous networker, a great public speaker, and Nick, I'm sorry man, I just can't read your writing. What's the next one? Nick is a romantic. And for those who don't know how Nick proposed, here is a version of the story from the bride. So Nick, are you ready? Nick plucked up the courage to propose to Anoushka, and he decided that the ideal setting would be the closing ceremony of the 2012 Olympics. And he even went into the finer details of planning the exact time, that being the lowering or extinguishing of the Olympic flame as the ceremony came to a close. When this moment arrived, he took his cue. Anoushka had an inkling that something may happen, but as the lovely girl that she is, she decided not to take anything for granted and play it cool. So Nick leaned over and said something very softly into her ear. Unfortunately, it was not clear enough, so she froze. For all she knew, Nick could have simply said, "I propose we have some fish and chips after the ceremony. What say you?" So Anoushka, rather than jumping for joy or going to any conclusion, say, "Yes, yes, yes, I'm so glad you asked. This is the happiest day of my life," kept cool and thought, just to be safe, she better let Nick say it again. So calmly she said, "Sorry, what did you say?" and fluttered her eyelashes. Of course, Nick, the gallant gentleman, again posed a question, which Anoushka this time did hear loud and clear. But suddenly, her thought was, why isn't he down on one knee popping the question? Another few seconds delay, she pondered, am I sure I heard this right? But of course, Anoushka was overwhelmed with Nick's proposal and gave her a resounding yes. And subsequently, when they left the stadium, Nick actually did get down on his knees and propose again. So Anoushka, you got two proposals on the same night, fortunately, from the same man. For those who know Nick well, he's very charitable. In fact, when the tsunami hit Sri Lanka, he was there on site helping every way he could. As you know, he's passionate about football. Of course, he's an avid Tottenham Hotspur fan. He's a super organizer and planner, and you can all see the planning that has gone into this lovely wedding. But most importantly, he has his head on his shoulder and his feet planted firmly on the ground. And he's a true friend to have. And that's why so many have traveled from far and wide to be with him on the happiest day of his life. So I'd like to say to Nick, you are a lucky man, my friend, to have married Anoushka. She's beautiful, smart, funny, warm, loving, and caring. The real deal. A word of advice to the couple, as in all good marriages, you will quarrel, irritate each other, and sulk once in a while. You will fight and argue, but through it all, you will still love each other, so remember to keep on showing it. And finally, to your new life together, may it not be perfect, but may you find beauty in that imperfection and in the wonderful, wonderful love that you have together. God bless Nick and Anoushka.